Hi there, and welcome to the Doe Show, Canada's Drag Race Review, Season 1, Episode 2. I'm Ferris Fair.
And I'm Bambi Dextrous, and we have another full episode for you today, so let's get right into it.
After a few minutes of chatting about last week's results, we quickly moved into the mini challenge. This week was a 20-minute ballerina quick drag where they had to all perform.
And Brooklyn Heights oversaw that mini challenge, and she is a trained ballerina dancer herself.
While watching the mini challenge, the ones that stood out for me right away were Tynomi Banks. We know we love her. I also really enjoyed Anastasia, and I also quite enjoyed Boa.
Yes, I also think that Priyanka did pretty well in that challenge. Being a children's host, I thought that was very interesting that she took it in a very interesting way.
Well, I'll say this. I assume that Priyanka did a really amazing dance because I didn't really get to see a lot of it.
We didn't get to see
We got to see their reactions to it, and their reactions were positive, so I have to assume the dance was too.
The winners, of course, from the mini challenge were Boa and Anastasia and Akwe, and they got to pick their teams for the main challenge. What did you think of this week's mini challenge? Comment below. Up next, let's go to Wetaskiwin in Alberta to hear what Jennie Talia has to say on Canada's Drag Race.
Hi, thanks. Canada's Drag Race Episode 2. What can I say except for holy crap, that was amazing. That episode has to be my favorite episode to date. I liked how with the challenge and the runway theme, this idea of nostalgia was very much present the entire episode, with the nostalgia of the Heritage Minutes and their first time doing drag, because I find when I first started doing drag, it's very nostalgic to me because that was when I first started, and it's actually almost my 1 year coming up in, I think, 2 weeks. So it's very nostalgic to me. I was in love with the runway. Everybody looked fantastic. I don't care what the judges had to say this week. I loved everyone's looks. My personal favorites were Priyanka's, Kyne's, Jimbo's. I loved everyone's look though. Everyone looked stunning. Everyone looked fabulous. I can't wait for next week's episode just from what I'm seeing in the promo for next week. So episode 2, 10 out of 10 on my nostalgia level. Thank you so much. Back to you, Ferris and Bambi.
Thank you so much, Jenny, my friend. It's always great to hear your thoughts. This week's Maxi Challenge was based off some classic Canadian heritage minutes. They decided to parody both the suffragettes with the muffragettes, and they also decided to spoof one of my favorite all-time classic moments, Dr. I Smell Burnt Toast, with I Smell Burnt Tux.
Using a schoolyard pick, Boa picked Priyanka, Kyne, Scarlett, and Jimbo for their team.
On Anastasia's team, she picked Tynomi, Rita, Kiara, and Lemon.
And Ilona Verley, who was chosen last, got to choose the team that she was on. She went with Boa's team, of course. Let's talk about the Muffragettes for a second. Led by team leader Boa, who lacked confidence and didn't know all of her lines, know all of her words. She struggled in this competition. I really feel like she didn't have her personality that we fell in love with episode 1. But thankfully, we had Vegan and Tara. The comic relief of their portion of the episode, amazing, so good, and I feel like they really pulled through this challenge.
Yeah, they had me at the name alone. The other cast did their wonderful performance. Well, I shouldn't say all of them, because Tynomi Banks really struggled in hers as well. Anastasia was great, and the rest of them were great, but Tynomi again was being force-fed her lines, and it was just coming across as wooden and dry. It really was not entertaining at all. So I agreed with the judges that Tynomi really did struggle in that competition. And now we go to Halifax, Nova Scotia for our correspondent, Aurora Borealass.
Hi, I'm Aurora Borealass, and I want to talk about those heritage moments. Now, I actually had to pause the video and think for a moment. Like, those writers had to be like, do we want to go, oh, Canada, or oh, Canada? And they went full-blown Canuck, because heritage moments, we grew up with these. Saturday morning cartoons would not have been complete unless we were watching those. Now, they went with the most iconic ones. I actually went back and rewatched them to kind of get a sense of like how accurate they were, and I have to say, pretty on point, just, you know, camped up and more drag queens. Burning Toast one, very good, very hilarious. I really enjoyed that one. But my personal favorite, like growing up, was the suffragette one, and I would have just kind of liked it if that one was like a little bit better. I mean, Boa was okay. Her lines were okay. It was just a little bit clunky. Jimbo did a fantastic job, and then Priyanka was also pretty hilarious as well. I guess I would have just liked it if it was a little bit more memorable.
Thank you so much, Aurora. You raised some good points.
In one of the most genuine and heartfelt moments of any season of RuPaul's Drag Race, Anastasia Anakwe recounted the time that they were shot simply for being gay when they were living in the Bahamas. It was absolutely horrifying to hear, and the other queens in the room were absolutely aghast at that this still happened in their lifetime. It was truly heart-wrenching, and I am so happy that the producers decided to include it, because it is something, especially in this day and age, that people need to know still happens. Coming up next, it is time for the runway, and we got to see all the fabulous looks from all three fabulous judges, and we got to meet this week's guest host, Jade Hasunde. I actually watched the first few seasons of Shadowhunters, so I totally remember him on the show, so it was kind of cute to see him on there.
Whereas I didn't remember him at all, but he did a fine job guest hosting, I feel like.
I hate to say it, I kind of miss Alicia Cuthbert. I thought she was that strong, but no shade on him. He did a fine enough job, but it's just she was so strong.
So strong.
I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard to match up. We didn't get to see them last week, but back again is Indecisive with their view on this week's show.
Hey, it's the one and only Indecisive here, coming at you for episode 2 of Canada's Drag Race. Let's talk about the mini challenge. I thought it was super hilarious, and it was a really fun mini challenge to watch, and I'm excited for it. Alright, let's talk about the main challenge. I thought it was very Canadian, and I'm really excited to see what other Canadian challenges we're gonna get that are really just gonna showcase Canada, man. And then the main runway challenge I thought was really interesting about doing your first drag look. I can't imagine what I'd have to come up with, but I thought some of the best looks definitely came from Jimbo. I thought it was really exciting and different, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Kyne, I really expected so much more, and we just didn't get it. So I'm super disappointed, and what can you do? But I did think Lemon killed it, and I'm just really excited to see what's gonna happen next episode.
Thank you so much, Indecisive, and it's great to have you back on the show.
What did you think of this week's acting challenge? Who was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. This week's maxi challenge was they had to somewhat recreate and also a little bit glow up their very first look from the first time that they had done drag. Out first after her second last place last week, Lemon.
And Lemon was serving us Elsa with that blonde wig and the blue dress. Oh, it was like Elsa was premiering on the red carpet. It was so amazing.
She did really look cute. I definitely did think it was a definite step up from last week's look.
Let it go. Up next we had Rita Vega.
Yes, we did.
And she was serving a Trend Alert sunflower look. Now, if you remember from last week's episode, I really loved the sunflowers look on Kiara. So I have a theory that Rita Vega watches our show, found out I love sunflowers so much, went back in time and did a sunflower look just for me.
I think that's it.
I
fully
watches our
buy that,
show.
obviously. Hi, Rita. Bonjour. Rita was definitely one of my favorites for the actual glow-up aspect. Like the previous look, looking the sunflower look, and then this new one. I definitely thought this was a really good recreation and a nice enhancement of the original look. Out next in kind of a space flight stewardess / medieval kind of look was Miss Tynomi Banks.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of that. I got medieval knight, Knights of the Round Table kind of look. I didn't know what to make of Tynomi's look this week.
The judges were also not exactly keen on it, so it wasn't just our opinion this time.
Yes.
Out next was Kiara with a cute and simple look.
Yes, with Kiara, this is another time in a row that she is just presented boy, flat-chested, very plain looks. Like there's no shape to her body. I really, next time on the runway, I want to see some shape to her body, not just flat chest.
And I do get that in this world of gender fuckery and everything else, the idea of that kind of silhouette is not the same. No.
You don't always have to present as feminine all the time, especially in 2020. And that blue eyeshadow, we saw it in the promo, and I didn't like it then, and I didn't like it now. That blue eyeshadow around the tops and bottoms of her eyes, I would like to see something different because I am not personally a fan of that look.
I definitely think she needs to step her makeup up. But anyway, that's what what do I know? Anastasia pranced onto the stage next with this beautiful black and white glamorous outfit.
So glamorous. And can I just say, the best hair on that runway. That was my favorite hair in this competition this week.
It really did look great. The next one to arrive would be the bitch on arrival, Boa.
Clutches pearls. I have been a fan of Boa so far this whole journey, but this week was a bit of a letdown for me. Boa being awkward towards Ilona in the challenge and being weak on this week's main challenge. She's been knocked down a few pegs in my eyes.
It was just another basic bodysuit as far as I was concerned.
An ill-fitted bodysuit.
Yeah, well.
Do you see around her legs that was not fitted around her body? So I feel so bad for Boa, but like bitch on arrival needs to bitch hit the runway. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she needs to arrive more prepared. Out next was Kine in supposedly an Ursula look. I didn't really see a whole lot of it other than the purple and the grayish wig, but yeah, I guess it was kind of like a cheap Halloween store Ursula sexy costume.
Let's break it down. This challenge was all about bringing back your original drag looks. She added in this leather jacket, which did nothing for her. It actually subtracted from the overall look. And I preferred her makeup and hair from the before pic from her first time in drag.
To me, it just kind of looked like one of those cheap Halloween knockoff sexy Ursula outfits or something. Like it was just a little bit weird. But I mean, again, what do I know? But yeah, the judges also didn't really think that it was a great glow up. They actually preferred the original look as opposed to her new reincarnation. Priyanka then slowly stepped out onto the stage in a long black latex head-to-toe number. It was really quite the look.
Yes, as one of the judges said, she's really going places next year. That runway walk was so slow, but as you mentioned, maybe it's to help mask her inability to walk in heels.
I honestly preferred her walk, and yes, it was slower this week, you know what I mean? But she was actually up on her heels as opposed to kind of that plodding.
Take your time and appear more graceful. That's what I was getting from it.
Yeah. So yeah, to me it was just she'd stepped forward, and I wanted to give her that
Literally.
Out next was Scarlett Bobo, who has finally decided to reveal her inner circus freak.
This girl is on fire. This girl had a fire-swallowing challenge look on the runway. It was amazing. Plus, my overall complete look on the runway. Hair and outfit matched completely. There's complete unison in her overall look.
It really did look good. Out next was Ilona Verley in a Club Kid look.
Yeah, it was interesting. It didn't do too much for me. In fact, when I was going through all the list of queens, she was the one that I forgot about the most. So
to me, it was fairly basic. Again, like the looks are fine and their looks are cool, but I feel like a lot of the others are turning it up a little bit of a notch. Whereas that might be something that they would have worn back at home. Whereas I feel like the others are trying to present something that's beyond what you might see in a regular club presentation. Jimbo then slowly creeped onto the stage in an amazing zombie cheerleader look. and honestly scared the shit out of me.
Totally. I was scared. But it actually gave me Walking Dead Season 1 vibes. You know, back when they favored quality over quantity. And it was so quality with this look with Jimbo's removable hair.
The hair clip rips was amazing. Amazing. I had never seen that before. I thought it was brilliant.
What did you think of this week's main runway looks? Comment below, let us know what you think.
Right now, we'd like to go back to the East Coast, to Fredericton, to see Nova Gyna and her take on Canada's Drag Race.
Hello Drag Race fans, it's me, Nova Gyna, here on the East Coast in Fredericton, New Brunswick. And we just finished watching episode 2. It was the acting challenge this week, and how unique can you get for Canadians than to do heritage moments? It's something that we've all watched growing up. It's all touched our heart. Well, my boob, I guess. But it's all touched us, and I thought it was really cute to watch. I don't know anything about contoritis. Well, I might. But anything about contoritis or tuckinitis or whatever they did, it was cute, it was funny, it was campy, and I love Kiara and Rita Baga. I think they're doing amazing to represent Quebec. I'm not from Quebec, but it's making me like Quebec, so that's pretty good. But I thought their scenes were amazing. The fake death drops and like having Rita's junk in Kiara's face, so great. I'm very excited for next episode because they start writing songs, and those are always amazing episodes. See you next week, everyone. Bye!
Thank you so much, Nova. It's true, Canada's Drag Race is uniquely Canadian.
No kidding, eh?
I agree with the bottom 2 this week. I agree it was Kyne's time to be in the bottom, and I agree that Tynomi Banks was checking out of the competition by this point. I do think that Kyne had some redeeming qualities in the main challenge. She brought character, she brought her makeup, she made herself an ugly mug, she made herself an old lady in that video, and it's hard to make a beautiful woman look that ugly and old in a video, so props to you, Kyne. But
Ageism here.
however, it wasn't enough. Performance and runway look wasn't enough to save Kyne this time, and Kyne ended up lip-syncing against Tynomi in the lip-sync challenge.
Again, like last week, we actually kind of had different opinions as to who won the lip sync for your life. I personally thought that my girl Tynomi Banks had done what she needed to do to keep herself there.
Yes, and Kyne did certainly all that she could. I actually liked that her hair came undone, and we got to see her hair a little bit looser and wilder during her performance. But ultimately, it wasn't enough to save Kyne.
So, at the end of episode 2, Kyne went home after Tynomi returned to the other safe queens. And really, I Kyne knew it, and
Kinda knew it.
kinda knew it. She even said it herself. She walked up and said, "Don't worry about it, this is my moment, I'm going home." So she was
went
aware.
home.
So that was the end of Kyne, and as much as they kind of annoyed me last week with a lot of their attitude,
Attitude to the judges.
in their last moments they actually learned some humility, and I think that that was, if nothing else, worth the journey for them. So
Yes, a good journey, a good character arc, and finished strong in Canada's Drag Race.
yeah, and I'm sure they will continue to grow after the competition. So there are now 10 amazing Canadian queens left. We will be back next week to talk about them. You need to check out next week's episode on Crave and then come see us to talk about it afterwards. Do you think we got it right? Do you think we got it wrong? What do you think? We want to hear about it below. Please comment. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe. Do all those things that people do. Thanks for
I know.
watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.